And we are live from the spring games in Claremont, Florida, as the College of Staten Island begins their fifth and final day here at the spring games. Eileen Balderas will lead things off for CSI as they take on Dominican University of New York. The Chargers, a team the Dolphins will face again later this year, but they meet for the first time in 2025 here at the spring games. Eileen Balderas leads off for the Dolphins and looks at a called strike one. We'll get you the full CSI lineup in just a few moments, as Balderas takes out of the zone 1-1. Full lineup for the Dolphins: Balderas, Acosta, Wanzer, Stalker, Motley, Paul, Alyssa Acosta, Warner, Carcano, and in the circle will be Marina Grenier. The 1-1 pitch to Balderas is hit sharply on the ground, down the line. Foul ball. Well, Joe, that's another example of deceptive angle, isn't it?
That is. From our vantage point, it seems like it came close to coming right over the top of the base, but the umpire, home plate umpire, in good position, immediately called out a foul ball, so we'll take his word for it.
Count on Balderas, 1 ball and 2 strikes. And that's hit pretty well, deep to left center field. That one's headed toward the wall, and it's off the fence.
Balderas hustling into second. Good throw from the outfield, but Balderas hustling out of the box is able to get to second base with a leadoff double. And let's see, Joe, she came so close to hitting a home run.
She sure did. Balderas making a bid for a home run in a second consecutive at-bat.
Yes, she hit a home run to right field at the Coliseum last night with a little help from the wind, which was okay.
That is quite all right.
It's quite all right.
Anissa Acosta at the plate, hits one a mile high on the infield, and 3 Chargers converge on it. Ultimately, it was Adriana Barnes making the catch.
Yeah, it's a difficult play because a ball hit right up sky level. Usually that's the pitcher's ball, but it's the first baseman coming all the way in to make that play, and it was a difficult play, Joe, but the Dolphins have 1 out here.
That ball landed right in the middle of the circle where Barnes took charge and made the catch. Runner in scoring position, now 1 out for the Dolphins, and Olivia Wanzer is the batter. Wanzer ahead 1-0 here. And she takes low ball 2. Victoria Iorio in the circle for the Chargers today. Gave up the leadoff hit and quickly retired Acosta for the first out as Wanzer takes down and away for ball 3. Three balls and no strikes to count on the Dolphins' designated player. That's taken low. Ball 4. 4-pitch walk to Wanzer.
Wanzer didn't really get to a pitch at all in that at-bat to hit. From the first pitch being away and then 2 of the next 3 being low. So Amanda Stalker comes to the plate here with first and second, 1 out. Let's see if CSI can do something, Joe.
First pitch on its way to Stalker, and that's in for a called strike. Keep in mind, first base was open when Wanzer came to bat. That may have played a role in her not seeing a pitch to hit. Now with 2 on, Stalker is behind 0-1. And she takes off the outside corner, 1-1.
Good take from Stalker, leveling out the count.
Comes the 1-1. In the dirt. Count now 2-1. Outside, ball 3.
Now you know what I'm about to ask, Joe. You're smart. You've been paying attention this whole time,
First
hopefully.
inning, yes.
7 of the last 8 pitches are balls. Are we taking here 3-1? I would.
You are? Well, that's not
Doesn't matter anyway. Ball was in the dirt. So now the Dolphins have the bases loaded here.
Well, yesterday in a 5-run game, Wanzer had the green light, so I think Stalker, if that pitch was close, had the green light to swing.
You know me, I'm aggressive conservative at the same time. In more ways than one.
Well, let's not talk about that. Time is called on the infield by the Chargers here. Stalker has drawn the second Dolphins walk of the inning. The bases are now loaded with one out, and Bridget Motley will be the batter. You said it, Joe, before that last pitch. 7 of 8 had been out of the zone. It's now 8 of 9 with the 2 walks.
So now this is the other end of the spectrum. Bases loaded, 1 out, top of the first. You got to make a pitch here, get ahead in the count, right? So we immediately swinging the bat here.
Well, you never predetermine, but Motley has to be ready because the Dolphins have had plenty of these chances as Motley takes a strike, and far too often they've come up empty or with just 1 run. Now, the last time Motley was up in this spot earlier in the week, she cleared the bases with a double.
She did.
Comes the 0-1, and that's in the dirt.
Good play by the backstop there. A few of the last couple of pitches have been in the dirt, but preventing them from getting behind her. We saw the Dolphins score on a pass ball yesterday.
And that's just off the corner, 2-1. Giovanna Salcido behind the plate for the Chargers today, making that block. As there's going to be a second conference in the circle. So the first one was just the Chargers infield, and now some instruction is going to come from the Dominican dugout.
So if my math is correct, 10 of the last 12 pitches have been out of the zone.
Correct.
So we've been seeing this. The Dolphins at-bats are good. They're taking the pitches that they're supposed to take, right? But now it's 2-1. The bases are loaded. You know, the same philosophy to start the at-bat. Bridget Motley here got a pitch that she could have hit with that first pitch. So now you're thinking 2-1. Strike has to be thrown, right?
You'd think so.
You would think so.
You can't fall behind 3-1.
No.
So I think that's a part of that conversation. What pitch do you throw here? Maybe you get the scouting report out there and let them know what pitch they're going to throw to give yourself the best chance of getting out of this one unscathed. And that's not even close. It bounces in for ball 3. So Motley now ahead
3-1. What am I going to say, Joe?
Well, you're going to say she should take one.
Absolutely, she should take one.
With the bases loaded now and 2 straight walks, I think I'm with you.
There you go. You're learning.
And Motley takes a strike. That's a good pitch.
That's
right
a good
corner.
take because that's a really good pitch from the pitcher.
Yorio dotted the corner there.
Now you're a hitter. Full count, 3-2, bases loaded, 1 out, top of the first. Let's see if the Dolphins, who have done a great job scoring runs early in these games, can do it again, Joe.
They have struck early quite a bit on this trip. Here comes the payoff pitch, and Motley dribbles one foul.
And we'll do it again. As we've done again so many times this trip in Claremont.
We've seen our share of lengthy battles between pitcher and batter throughout the week. And the Dolphins hope to come out on the plus side of this one. I've said it before, Joe. The Dolphins have had so many situations with runners on base,
Yes.
less than 2 outs, and come away with 1 or nothing. And Motley takes ball 4.
So a little bit of a gift here early for the Dolphins. Series of walks by Dominican. Plates the first run of the game for the Dolphins. 1-0, bases remain loaded. Still just 1 out. And it's Madeline Paul moving up a spot in the lineup here.
Paul moved up to the 6th spot, and she takes outside.
So as of right now, the Dolphins really aren't swinging. Waiting for the starting pitcher in this game to kind of come to them.
No need to swing at this point. See if that changes, and it will not on 1-0. That pitch is well upstairs, 2-0. Two and 0 now.
She should be taking here. But let's see if she gets a pitch to hit.
And She swings away at the off-speed pitch, 2-1.
But that's okay. I'm all right with that swing.
I don't think she was looking off-speed there.
Paul's had a good trip here down here behind the plate. Been very good defensively for the Dolphins.
And she takes ball 3.
I sound like a broken record, don't I?
Well, it's 3-1 again. The bases are loaded. The Dolphins
I
lead
absolutely
1-0.
have to take one here, but let's see.
And Paul pops it up. That's an infield fly. 2 gone.
But that pitch did look like it was going to come in as a strike, Joe. So Paul, unfortunately, can't get another Dolphins running. And we have 2 outs.
It will be left to Alyssa Acosta. And Acosta swings and misses, strike 1. And Acosta takes a called strike 2. So Acosta quickly in a 2-strike hole. Dolphins with the bases loaded, 2 outs, leading 1-0. That's down and away. One and 2 coming. In the dirt again, ball 2.
Another good block there by the catcher because that ball was a little bit towards the left batter's box.
Two balls and 2 strikes the count on the Dolphins' left fielder. And Acosta goes down swinging. Dolphins settle for just 1 in the first inning and strand the bases loaded. We head to the home half of the first. Staten Island over Dominican, 1-0. Home first inning from the spring games, and the Dolphins starting pitcher, Marina Grenier, heads to the circle. Her first pitch misses low for ball 1. Nicole Mata at the plate here. And she looks at a strike, 1-1.
Grenier been one of the most effective Dolphins pitchers this trip, Joe.
Yes, she has, and put together one of the best Dolphins starts of the trip as well. Went the distance in a complete game effort.
First game here for the Dolphins. She came in for the save. Second appearance, she made the start. She got the win. I believe she made the third appearance as well.
She made a third appearance.
Back on Tuesday.
So no Dolphin to this point has appeared in more games. 4 starts now, or I should say 4 appearances for Grenier, a couple of starts. In fact, this is our third of the trip, as we have an unwanted souvenir that landed right in front
dangerous.
of the plate. How did that land there?
We've been trying to figure this out because it's a.
Did that come out of the bullpen? I don't know how.
I have no idea how that ball landed there, Joe. It would have to come in on an arc to get over the netting too.
Pop up that
Right.
ended up straight up, straight down, and Mata draws the walk. So we saw 3 Dolphins walk in the first inning. And now the first charger to the plate has walked as that is bunted back to Grenier. Her throw right on the money. Very quickly, Emma Kasovitz is retired on 1 pitch.
That was an incredibly close play at first, but we've seen Grenier been able to make a couple plays coming off the mound this trip.
The Dolphins pitchers have been forced to field their position. There's no question about it. We've seen a lot of balls hit right back to the circle. some dribblers that required some difficult plays, and they've been up to the task thus far.
Kennedy Ruth, Paige Bell came in yesterday, made a couple of nice plays in relief as well. So Dolphins pitchers been fielding their position, been very good defensively.
And that's hit deep to right. Stalker gets turned around but makes the catch. And Chloe McIntosh goes down on the deep fly ball.
Very alert base running. So Dominican has a runner on third here with 2 outs in the bottom half of the first inning.
That will bring up Giovanna Salcido. Tying run stands on third. 2 outs here in the home first inning. And Grenier's first pitch is on the inside corner for a called strike 1. Comes the 0-1. Inside.
Almost right back to that same exact spot, Joe.
Nearly identical pitch there on 0-1. Here comes the 1-1. That's in for a called strike. Grenier a strike away from escaping trouble in the first. Dolphins trying to keep their 1-run lead. Comes the 1-2. And she hits the batter. Salcido is hit by the pitch. And that will put runners on the corners with 2 outs. At the plate now, Adriana Barnes. And Barnes fouls the first pitch back.
Almost directly hit the camera again. Wonder how many times that's happened this trip, Joe.
So, Joe, if you take a look there are 2 audio jacks up there.
There are.
I actually have the wire that would fit into that jack to get our audio in the stream. We were told yesterday, as that's fouled away, that an attempt would be made to get our audio into the stream. However, you would need a lengthy cable to make that work, and now I see where you input that cable. So perhaps next year, I come with the cable.
Perhaps next year you come with the cable, we do this again.
That pitch is high. 1-2.
It's all ending so soon, you know. First it's on the schedule, and then it comes and goes.
Seems like just yesterday that I was here with Pat Fleming last year. So that's taken up and in 2-2.
Eclipse season went very fast, Joe.
Yes, it did. 2-2 the count. And that is hit deep to left and off the base of the fence. They will hold Salcido at third. Joe, I don't know how that one stayed in the ballpark.
I don't know how that stayed in the ballpark either, Joe. That hit the fence, and Dolphins, again, like I say, sometimes it's better to be a little bit lucky than good. That ball was so well hit that only 1 run was able to come in. So it's a tie game. Runners on second and third here with 2 outs.
I think Barnes just got it a bit off the end of the bat. So the game is tied at 1. Now there are 2 in scoring position with 2 outs.
Seeing Grenier fight it a couple times here in the first inning, being able to get to 2 strike counts, has not been able to put a batter away once she's gotten to 2 strikes.
Julia Laporte at the plate here. Grenier looks in. Scoring that last play, I believe the count is now 1-2.
Yes, it is 1-2.
All right. So once again, Grenier is a strike away from getting out of the inning.
For the third time this inning, she's got 2 strikes on a batter.
And that's hit softly to second. Warner is there, and the throw is in time to retire the side. But not before a long RBI double by Adriana Barnes ties the score, and we are through 1. Chargers 1, Dolphins 1. And we are back from Claremont
And it is Warner at the plate, who just hit a ball mile high, but foul down the left field line.
That was certainly a well-struck foul ball, Joe. As right now we're getting my credentials for the ECC Championship tomorrow sorted out. I think the crew is down there waiting for me.
So our women's and men's basketball teams play tomorrow. I believe you said the women play at 2:30, or is it the men?
Women 2:30
and the men
5 p.m.
Yes. I had it right. I do pay attention. Most of the time.
And that pitch misses outside.
So after that deep fly ball to left, Warner has worked the count in her favor.
That's hit a mile high, shallow left field. Who's going to get it? And it will be the left fielder coming in to make the grab. That's Angulo out there. One away. Raya Carcano will be the batter now. Base is empty, one out. Here in the road, second.
We've seen her show bunt a lot this trip. Let's see if she does it again here.
That's up and away, ball one.
So the third baseman is coming in. She showed it just for a little bit, Joe. So third baseman has her relatively well played. Let's see if she can get it down enough.
And Carcano deadens that bunt in front of home plate, beating out the throw to first.
And that's just pure speed, Joe. I mean, I wouldn't call that a perfect bunt, but the way that she positioned that ball, just over the edge of the left batter's box over here, that ball died as soon as it hit the dirt.
Yeah, there was
Now
no
I could say
chance.
die as it context when it hits the dirt and just...
Can you? You can.
You know, I gotta be careful.
Yeah, you know, those algorithms sometimes can wreak havoc. Eileen Balderas, the batter here, ahead 1-0.
I think we're getting ahead of ourselves with AI. We're going to be in the Terminator real soon.
Well, as someone who makes his living off of coding bots, I think we're doing just fine. As that's down and in. Two and 0 now, the count on Balderas. And she takes high and outside. Ball three.
Now, you know what I've been saying ad nauseum forever. That doesn't apply to Eileen Balderas.
No?
As the Dolphins' best hitter, you always have the green light.
Souvenir on the field from another one of the diamonds in the complex.
Incredibly generous here with all the souvenirs. It's a shame they put up so much netting to try to prevent that, Joe, you know?
Yeah, you'd have to encase the entire field in a net to stop the amount of foul balls we've seen. As Balderas takes high for ball four.
A lot of netting, and we are in Pisces season. And Pisces symbol is the fish. Oh, you like that, huh?
Oh, yeah.
For the first time this trip, ladies and gentlemen, I have left Joe speechless.
Yep.
Very hard to do.
As Acosta hits one well out to left, and that's over Angulo's head and all the way to the fence. Carcano is headed home. She will score, and the throw to the plate beats Balderas. She is tagged out, and the Dolphins will get one on the play. It's an RBI double for Anissa Acosta, but Balderas is out. 9-6-2 at home.
Balderas was flying around the bases, Joe. I mean, she
almost caught up to Carcano.
She almost caught up to Carcano. Carcano's a pretty good base runner herself.
That will bring up Olivia Wanzer, and she looks at ball one.
So this is a situation that has plagued the Dolphins multiple instances this trip. There is a runner in scoring position out there at second, Joe, with 2 outs.
With Wanzer at the plate, you hate to have that run cut down, but it took a good throw from left field and a good relay as well.
Yeah, if that throw from left field isn't on line, Balderas is going to be safe at home. So I have no problems with her being sent there to the plate.
Wanzer now continues to see nothing to hit. She has not had to swing the bat. Drew a 4-pitch walk her first time, is ahead 3-0 here. And she looks at a strike. Three and 1 the count on Wanzer. That's fouled off.
That's a good cut from Wanzer. The first time she's had the opportunity to swing the bat in 2 plate appearances.
Well, she's batting here with first base open again. Amanda Stalker on deck. 2 outs in the inning.
Full count to Wanzer.
Pitch on its way, and Wanzer chased out of the zone. Good off-speed pitch there from Iorio for strike 3. And that will do it for the Dolphins in the road second inning. Dolphins settle for 1 as a strong throw from left and the relay cut down Balderas, trying to make it a 2-run game. Wanzer strikes out. Dolphins strand 1 in scoring position, and we head to the home second. Staten Island over Dominican, 2-1. And we're back for the home second inning, where Emily Angulo leads things off and fouls back the first pitch from Marina Grenier.
That foul ball almost reaches the Coliseum, where the CSI Dolphins will take to the field for the 3rd time this trip, for the 2nd game, and their final game of the trip today.
Can't think of a better way to end our week here in Claremont as Angulo takes strike 2.
The only way you would have ended your Claremont trip better is if your flight was slightly later tonight.
Well, if it was any later, I would not have the opportunity to pick up my rental car when I arrive, as Angulo lines that base hit to center field. And once again, the Chargers have the leadoff batter on.
And that ball was hit so hard, just out of the reach of Grenier's glove.
So I arrived tonight in Buffalo at about 11:15, assuming no delay.
Assuming no delay, and we wish you the best and safe travels, as you will be in Buffalo for 2 days, right?
Yes.
Yes. Providing support for our terrific men's and women's basketball programs.
At the plate here, Kendall Johnson takes a strike, but if my flight was any later, the rental car pickup would be closed, which means I'm walking to the hotel, which is right across the street. I was shocked when I saw the layout of the airport. It is right on a regular street. You can walk straight out of the parking lot into the hotel complex.
That's got to be nice.
Sure is. 1-1 the count here, and that's blooped into shallow right, and no Dolphin will get there. That's a base hit. Johnson reaches on a single, and Gula moves up to second, and the Chargers now have 2 on with nobody out. That will bring up Tony Joe Lopez. First pitch from Grenier hit sharply to short. Could be 2. Balderas to second for 1. Warner on to first. 6-4-3 double play.
Excellent job by Balderas. She could have elected to get the lead runner there, but if that was the case, she would have only got 1 out. And that's not the first time this trip that we've seen the Dolphins be able to quickly turn that double play on the infield. So really good job by Balderas and Warner in the middle of the infield there. And just like that, Joe, the Dolphins have 2 outs.
And that's hit in the air, right center field. Carcano moving to her left, makes the catch. And that will do it for the Chargers in the second inning.
And what could have been a little bit of an inning over there for the Chargers, the Dolphins very quickly able to get out of it.
Dolphins surrender back-to-back hits to open the inning, turn a double play, and get the 3rd out on just 1 more pitch. We head to the 3rd. Staten Island leads Dominican 2-1. And we are back for the road 3rd inning, where Amanda Stalker will lead off for the Dolphins. Stalker at the plate. Drew a walk her first time up. First pitch of the inning on its way. Outside, ball 1. Comes the 1-0. That's up high, ball 2. And time has been called.
Head coach Tracy Garofalo talking to the home plate umpire about something.
So she was asking about a change. If there was a change, I didn't see it, nor did I input it into the stats.
And if there was a change, then the home plate umpire would have approached us to confirm
Usually,
it.
they do.
They do.
Not always.
Not always.
Usually.
We've had...
We couldn't be any closer.
Yeah.
And Joe, I got my pen back yesterday.
Oh, you did? Yeah, folks, the home plate umpire in our second game yesterday had to borrow a pen.
On the move.
That was near and dear to Joe, and he almost got away with it.
Almost. There's one thing that never wavers. It's my persistence. 3-1 the count. If I want my pen back, I will get it back.
There's nobody better in the business.
I'd like to think so. 3-1 the count on Stalker, and she rips one foul. I'll tell you, 3 pitches ago, Tracy would have been standing right there.
Yes. Now she's all the way, once again, on the border of the infield dirt and the outfield grass, well behind the third baseline. She's a character. A lot of fun with her this week.
I was telling Nick last night, not realizing you were in the same group chat, I said I knew Joe would be a good fit for this. Me in terms of driving the van and, you know, transporting the team, I don't know.
No, absolutely not.
I don't know.
No. Yeah, so definitely enjoyed my time with everybody down here tonight. The coaches, the players, they've incorporated me. Obviously, I've done the transporting, but also had fun breaking down, you know, what we've seen on the field. So they have valued my input, and I appreciate that.
That's popped up. Foul ground down the third base line. The catch is made for the first out of the inning. You have to remember, Joe, when I was a bit younger, I did do the portion of the trip where I traveled with the team. I'm not sure if I told you the story, but I think we were in a friendlies, and apparently it's a rite of initiation for them to tell the servers that it's your birthday.
Yes.
So they did that, and that was how I was welcomed to the team.
Excellent. Remember when friendlies used to be a thing?
They're still around, aren't they?
They are still around, but they aren't as prominent as they were once before. I remember the days that Staten Island Mall had a friendlies. Used to love going in there. Then they had one on Highland Boulevard, kind of right before New Dorp Lane. That was there for a while, but didn't really have great business.
Bridget Motley, the Dolphin at the plate, grounds one weakly right up the middle for a base hit. Placed that one perfectly, and Motley is on with a 1-out single. Well, I will not get over it anytime soon, though. I guess you could say I have, since I'm no longer a Staten Island resident. But they closed the only remaining Moe's Southwest Grill on Highland Boulevard.
They did.
And that was rather devastating for me.
That was. The Staten Island Techies. I still don't believe you went there, by the way.
Well,
Joey
did I really go? I was there once in a while. Though I did graduate.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened either.
Well,
not for lack of brains. You're
my
incredibly
average
smart.
was nearly 100, even with my less than stellar attendance. Let's put it this way. My average was well above my attendance. And it wasn't very close. That pitch taken up and away by Olivia Warner. Make that Madeline Paul. It's 2-0. I'm so used to Warner batting behind Motley.
Yeah. So they reconfigured the lineup a little bit here.
That's hit in the air out to right center. And ranging in to make the catch from right field is Johnson, 2 away. Well, Joe, if I had to do it over, I would do it exactly the same again.
That's the beauty of life.
I was on the
You live
hustle
and you
grind.
learn.
We didn't have time for school, Joe.
We didn't have time for school.
That's fouled back by Alyssa Acosta. 0-1. Acosta 0 for 1, struck out to end the first inning.
So we went from talking about our trips here to friendlies to Moe's. How'd that happen?
You were talking about how much you enjoyed your week. Then you started talking about friendlies on Highland Boulevard as Acosta fouls back another 0-2. You know? Those intuitive cognitive leaps.
That's right.
We're just hopping around. A lot of people can't communicate that way, Joe. We're a unique breed.
We are a unique breed. Gotten a lot of compliments about our broadcast while we've been down here. The number one compliment that I've got outside of the quality of the analysis is how funny we are.
And what did I say to that yesterday? I'm a serious man. I'm offended. And then I said, see, that's funny. I'm sounding like my father now. It's starting to scare me as that pitch misses high. The count on Acosta now 2-2.
Acosta struck out in her first at-bat in that scenario with the bases loaded. Dolphins have one run on first. Motley's on first with 2 out.
And Acosta fouls that one back. Well, Joe, next year we're going to find out how much the audience really loves us because, as you know, and as Nick loves to say, we're going with the flow next year, which means the stream, of course, moves behind a paywall.
That's right.
And I think it will be well worth the annual subscription. It will be the entire conference, but you will get all of the Dolphins home games, the rest of the ECC, and Costa fouls back another. But plenty of other regional conferences as well have made the move to Flow Sports. I believe the NE10 is on there. That I know for a fact. They are on there this year. I believe the CACC is moving there next year as well, and the ECC will be joining Flow Sports officially in the fall of 2025. And Acosta lines one into the glove of the second baseman.
That was really well hit, but it seemed like she just right off the end of the bat. She didn't get quite enough of it to get it over the second baseman. Second baseman has to hustle a little bit to her right, tracks it down, makes a nice play. And with that, the Dolphins are out of this half of the inning.
Lopez got to that ball just in time on the move, and the Dolphins are turned aside in the third. We head to the home half of inning number 3. Staten Island over Dominican, 2-1. And we're back for the home third inning. And Makasovitz will lead off. And she takes low ball 1. Comes the 1-0. That's in for a strike. One and one pitch, just off the outside corner. Grenier's kept her pitch count pretty low. She was at just 28 through the first 2 innings.
Yeah, despite working herself into a little bit of trouble in both innings, has kept that pitch count very, very low, and she's going to have to keep that low here.
I think it's abundantly clear from what we've seen this week that Grenier is not the same pitcher that we saw last year. She has pitched really well and demonstrated a lot of improvement, especially in terms of pitching under duress. We've seen in the past she's come in out of the bullpen, and that obviously puts you into some tough situations. She's been in a lot of high-pressure situations this week and has managed very well. 3-2 coming, and that's fouled away.
And let's talk about how she took a ground ball off the shin the other day.
True.
And the fact that she's back out there and starting this game, which is an important game for the Dolphins here. They're 4-4 entering today. So the fact that she's back out there and she's been pretty effective these first couple of innings, testament to how much she's really, really improved.
There's another foul ball.
Because it's one thing to improve something, whether it's mechanical or how you approach how you're pitching, but sometimes you can't teach toughness. And with the way that ball hit her shin the other day, she's plenty tough.
And that is in for a called strike 3.
And she wasn't doing that last year as well, right?
Well, last year, I have the numbers in front of me.
There you
Grenier's
go.
ERA came in at 6.58. She appeared in just 14 games, started 5. She's already appeared now in 4 games this week. So she is on quite the pace and should easily surpass her innings total from last year.
Of all the pitchers that head coach Tracy Garofalo has used down here for the Dolphins in Claremont, you would have to imagine that Grenier's been probably the most versatile of all of them between all the different types of appearances that she's made, starting, saving games. That's a hard hit ball between the shortstop and the third baseman. That's going to get through for a base hit.
That's Chloe McIntosh with the single through the left side. Now we'll bring up Giovanna Salcido. Well, I think also based on what we've seen this week, it looks like Grenier is the number 2 starter, Joe. There's a swing and a miss by Salcido for strike 1.
So Kennedy Ruth has gotten 2 starts.
Yes.
Lex Miramontes has gotten 2 starts. Now Grenier's gotten 2 starts.
That's taken low. We did see Alexandra Frenza throwing during the pregame, so perhaps she's in line to start game 2. I think, Joe, I'm actually mistaken. Kennedy Ruth has started 3 games on this trip.
3 games.
Wow.
That's an excellent job not flinching.
That is
That's a much
impeccable
better
work.
non-flinching job than either of us.
Yeah. So Giovanna just hit a foul ball right towards her mother, recording the at-bat, and the phone was knocked right out of her hand, but did not flinch.
And the phone was very close to the netting.
Did not flinch. That's incredible. And there's a swing and a miss for strike 3.
That's a huge strikeout.
2 in the inning now for Grenier.
That's a huge strikeout because look who's coming to the plate.
Well, Barnes made a home run bid.
Don't know how that ball stayed in the ballpark.
Well, she hit it a mile high.
And that ball just went a mile high, well foul, the right to right field. But, I mean, you straighten out that swing, that ball's going over the fence, the right field side. So she's got power to all fields.
We suspected that maybe she got it just off the end of the bat. It hit halfway up the wall, and Stalker had her played perfectly. She was in deep right field, Joe.
She was. Seems like Barnes just kind of got that off the end of the bat, maybe a little bit again. Not as well hit as her first double, but the Dolphins, as it stands, they get out of the inning.
So CSI will come to bat when we return, leading 2-1 as we enter the 4th inning from the spring games. Road 4th inning from Claremont about to get underway. Olivia Warner will lead things off for the Dolphins. CSI still leads it 2-1. That's taken up and away, ball 1.
It's our 6th day here in Claremont, Florida, and once again, as I do every broadcast, we would love to thank Ice Spice taking time out of her busy schedule to join us.
Well, if it were the real Ice Spice, I probably wouldn't be saying thank you, Joe, so I can't join you in that sentiment.
It's okay. Understandable.
Count on 1 or 2-0.
We all have non-negotiables.
Yeah, one of them for me is celebrity cameos. And Warner's now ahead 3-0. And the 3-0's up and away, ball 4. We've seen that more than once already now where a Dolphin hitter has come to the plate and not had to swing the bat.
That is correct.
And that's going to be all for the Chargers starting pitcher. So Iorio is going to come out of the game here. And I believe the new pitcher out of the dugout was wearing number 5, but there is no 5 on the roster, so we'll have to wait a moment and see who it is that came in.
We'll get confirmation from the home plate umpire shortly.
I hope so. But as the new pitcher gets warm, Joe and I will step aside off headset and take a quick break. The Dolphins have the leadoff batter on in the fourth. They lead it 2-1. All right, we are back where a new pitcher has come into the game for the Chargers. However, we do not have a number 5 on our roster. I'm taking a look, Joe, and there aren't many candidates. In terms of pitchers, there are 4 on the roster. One of them already in the game is Mariah Carcano lays down a bunt, and she is out at first. That throw is by the pitcher, Joe?
The throw was by the pitcher.
So Carcano will be assessed the sacrifice. And there's one away in the inning as Warner moves up to second. We're going to the website. Maybe we get some help there. Sometimes there are alternate jersey numbers, but not in this case. So, as I mentioned, Victoria Iorio got the start. The other pitchers are Emily Null, Gianna Barberi, Melanie Fiumara, and Emily Baxter. So, that's a 1 in 4 chance. Pitch to Balderas. He is on the inside corner for a called strike. Joe, is it 2-1 or 1-2?
I do believe it is 2-1.
That's what I have.
Been looking at the scorecard, trying to see if the names that you just read off appeared on the lineup card, which was accurate.
And Balderas went up the ladder after that pitch, swung straight through it. It's 2-2. So we were right.
Very rarely are we wrong.
Joe, do me a favor. In between innings, go to the dugout and see if they know who the new pitcher is. Our dugout.
Okay.
Balderas pops it up. Shallow right center. And again, Johnson had to come sprinting in to make the catch. Two away now, and it will be left to Anissa Acosta. Acosta 1 for 2 with a run batted in.
She doubled in her last plate appearance.
Very easily could have driven in 2 runs were it not for a strong throw as that's hit to left center, and that is down for another base hit. Acosta will stop at first, and Warner will score the third Dolphins run. It's now 3-1 Staten Island.
Back-to-back good plate appearances from Acosta. That hit was a little more towards left center. Not so much hard hit as her double. But it did fall in there, enough into the gap, and the depth was able to get Warner home. So the Dolphins' lead has now been extended to 2 runs.
2 outs here in the road fourth, and Olivia Wanzer is the batter. Wanzer has walked and struck out in 2 plate appearances. The 1-0, swung on and missed. Comes the 1-1. And Wanzer takes up and away. And Wanzer held the swing but took a strike. Two and 2 the count on the Dolphins' designated player. Pitch on its way. Just off the corner.
Good eye there from Wanzer. The count is now full at 3-2.
So with 2 outs, Acosta will be running on the pitch. Payoff pitch. Hit toward the middle, and threw for a base hit.
Good 2-out hitting by Wanzer. Stayed back on the ball just a little bit as the ball She's seen a couple of pitches to the outside of the plate today that she really hasn't been able to do anything with. She had 2 frustrating plate appearances to start the game. But that one, good job getting the count back to 3-2. And once again, staying back, keeping the hands back, and that hit went right up the middle. Amanda Stalker now, her 3rd plate appearance, and she takes a strike to start the at-bat.
Stalker at the plate in this game, officially 0 for 1 with a walk. 0-1. Out of the zone, 1-1. And the 1-1 is high, 2-1.
Of all the games, I think the Dolphins, in this one in particular, have done a really great job of making each pitcher work, Joe.
That's definitely been a strong point for this team throughout the week. They haven't chased many pitches. They've worked the count well. They had the one game where they drew 7 walks and were in it despite being out-hit 14-4 at one point in the game. They narrowed that gap a bit in the final inning as Stalker draws another walk, her 2nd of the game.
So in the first inning, Joe, we saw the Dolphins load the bases with 1 out. Now we have that scenario once again. And it is Bridget Motley to the plate, who, as you noted, came up in one of the Dolphins' earlier games on the trip to Claremont. She had a bases clearing hit. So let's see what she does here with the bases loaded and 2 out.
And Motley looks at a strike. Well, you just said it, Joe. I don't think there's been a Dolphin who's come to the plate with the bases loaded more often than Motley in this young season. The 0-1, swung on and missed. It's 0-2 now on Motley. Dolphins have the bases loaded with 2 outs here in the road 4th, excuse me. Pitch on its way. High and outside, ball 1. That's popped up, foul ground, and out of play.
Bit of a protective swing there by Motley as she had to go up the ladder a little bit. Definitely seems like that pitch was going to be a ball. Is that the letters maybe a little bit higher, but a good job by Motley using the extension. Getting good contact on that and fouling it straight back.
Another 1-2. Fouled off again. It's about that time where they need some more softballs, Joe.
Yeah, we haven't had as many go out, I don't think, today. Yesterday there was a bunch, but the wind also plays a factor in that.
And the 1-2 is bounced foul down the first base line.
Just to the right of first base.
Motley doing a good job battling here.
Had a couple of at-bats like this.
Another 1-2. Just inside.
A lot of oohs and ahs here from the Chargers contingent who are down here in Claremont supporting their team. But I do believe that ball was inside.
Comes the 2-2.
3-2.
Fouled off. It's 3-2.
Full count. I believe it is a full count. I could be wrong.
I have 2-2.
You have 2-2. Okay. I'll defer to you for now.
What was that ringing?
Somebody's phone.
I thought it was right in front of me. I thought it was the iPad for a second.
You keep calling it an iPad. It's a Samsung device. You're right. It is 2-2. Yeah.
What do you even call the Samsung device? I wouldn't know. And Motley takes inside for ball 3.
Now it is 3-2.
You know I'm right.
You've had that in the holster the whole time, huh?
I have. Just waiting for the right moment to strike. It's 3-2 now. Bases loaded with Dolphins, 2 outs.
Runners will be going. Let's see what Motley does.
And she lines one into right field for a base hit. 1 run in to score, and each Dolphins base runner will move up 1.
Tracy wisely holding Wanzer at third. Excellent at-bat there by Motley. I mean, she fouled 4 pitches, and she got it to 3-2, so I think it's going to go in the record books as a 10-pitch at-bat and a big hit. We have 35 for 4. So we have a pinch hitter coming up here for the Dolphins.
So Madeline Paul called back to the dugout, and Taryn Judson will pinch hit.
Head coach Tracy Garofalo. She smells blood in the water, Joe. I mean, I know we're Dolphins, but this is a shark-like moment. Bases loaded, 2 outs, top of the 4th, 4-1, and she is sending one of her best power hitters off the bench here. See what she can do.
Well,
You like that one, huh?
Well, I'm a big shark guy, even though I cover the Dolphins. I have a lot of shark-based nicknames that have not yet made their way onto the broadcast.
A lot of fish talk here, but again, we're in Florida, so that's perfectly reasonable and expected.
Judson the batter, bases loaded, 2 outs. And she takes a strike on the inside corner. Comes the 0-1. That's blooped into shallow right. Could be trouble, but again, Johnson charges in to make the catch. She's been busy out there in right field, and the Dolphins will settle for 2 here in the 4th inning. Our score headed to the home half of inning number 4, Staten Island 4 and Dominican 1. And we are back from the spring games, where once again Joe was getting down to business as an investigative reporter. He has informed me that Emily Baxter is wearing number 5, and that was the new pitcher for the Chargers. So I will very quickly try and go and fix that in our stats. Should not take too long here.
That pitch is on the inside for a ball.
All right, all good. That's hit the other way toward the line in right, and did Stalker hold on?
Don't think so. I think that ball...
And they called it a fair ball as well. So
Yes,
Stalker contacted it in fair territory.
Right. I think she got a glove on it. She couldn't quite get it in the glove, and she did play it in fair territory. So incredibly difficult play for Amanda Stalker to make. She made an outstanding defensive play yesterday on a really hard hit, low line drive on the Coliseum right field.
So Jalea Laporte is on via a leadoff base hit. And now Emily Angulo will be the batter. Angulo is 1 for 1. And she looks at a strike.
Difficult way to start the inning here for Grenier, but hopefully she'll be able to continue what she's been doing, which is just battling.
That pitch downstairs. I believe it's 2-1, Joe. I did miss the first pitch as I was changing the pitcher during the previous inning. That sails high. They'll throw behind the runner, and it hits the helmet of Laporte, who is okay.
So that throw in particular didn't really hurt the Dolphins in any way, but I don't like that decision by Madeline Paul, who's had a really good defensive effort here in Claremont. There wasn't really anybody covering first base there.
Well, that was the issue. The throw was a good one.
Right, but Warner was the one covering first base late there, and she wasn't even at the base. So thankfully, did not affect anything from the Dolphins end.
Well, I was correct. First pitch I did miss. It was a ball. And with that last foul ball, the count's now 3-2. Payoff pitch upcoming from Grenier. And that's it out to right center, but Carcano is right there, and she makes the catch. One away. That will bring up Kendall Johnson.
It's a big out, Joe. I mean, we can split hairs here and call them all big outs, but running on first day with nobody out to get that out.
That's popped up on the infield, and Balderas has it, and she flips to first for the double play.
Outstanding play from an outstanding player, Joe.
Balderas came charging in, made that play in front of her second baseman, Warner. The runner got caught just a bit too far off for first, and Balderas goes the short way for the out and the double play. Just like that, Grenier is through the fourth. The Dolphins still lead it 4-1. Alyssa Acosta will lead off for the Dolphins in the fifth inning. Dolphins lead it by 3. Our score, Staten Island 4 and Dominican 1. As we mentioned, to open up the bottom half of the last inning, Emily Baxter was the new pitcher for Dominican. She's wearing number 5 today. And Acosta swings through that one. 1-1. If you're a fan of CSI Dolphins athletics, or just a fan of the games of baseball and softball, triple header today, Joe. They have us here at 2, and then again at approximately 4:15. We've been starting early in the second game of 2.
We've been starting early a lot here. I think a majority, at least 7 or 8 of the 10 games have had a start time about 10 to 15 minutes ahead of what the schedule on the CSI Dolphins, which is an incredibly well-maintained website, says.
I must say, I agree. It's 1-2 on Acosta here, but when we're done, you can flip it over to the ECC network and catch CSI Dolphins baseball in action. They host Caldwell University once again. The third of 5 against the Cougars this week, and the first of 3 between tonight and tomorrow. 2-2 the count on Acosta. And Acosta takes high. So your good friend and our colleague, Nick Durst, he will be on the call tonight alongside Nick Pavona and first-time color commentator Sam Whalen of CSI Cross Country and Track and Field. Sam was our spotter for stats during soccer. He's on the call tonight with Nick and Nick as Acosta strikes out swinging.
Got a lot of pairs here. We got Acosta, Joe and Joe, Nick and Nick.
Yeah, it's really getting out of control.
Now, let me ask you a question. Are we going to call them Nick Squared?
I'm not going to do
I'm
that.
not doing it either.
Maybe the team will.
That's our
I'm
nickname. No. That's our nickname.
Yeah.
We earned that nickname.
Did we now? I think the most important perk of earning such a name is the chicken parm sandwiches.
That's right.
Olivia Warner takes a strike.
Those were excellent chicken parm sandwiches. I think I've been spoiled a bit since I've been down here.
I would agree. I would agree. As someone who, handled all of his own accommodations and
I just kind of lucked into this, I
I
had a little help
from
from you.
Really strong recommendation. Let's put it that way. You had a very strong recommendation. So our viewers probably don't know the story, as that's fouled back by Warner. But Coach Tracy Garofalo came to me and said that they needed another van driver for the trip, and asked if anybody on my crew would be interested in coming down and driving the van for a week. And I could think of no one better than you.
Aw.
As that pitch is in the dirt. I don't know if anybody else would have been interested. I don't think so. Obviously, much of the crew has full-time jobs with or around CSI.
See, now that's NT type of thinking.
Comes to 2-2, and that's fouled back again.
Maybe you are INTJ. Maybe we have this all wrong.
Well, Joe and I, if you haven't gathered already, are
weirdos.
Mildly interested in personality psychology. I don't know how I got into that. Maybe we'll stay through break and talk about it a bit more as Warner awaits the 2-2. And that's fouled off again. But for those who are unfamiliar, everyone has what I'll call a cognitive preference, the way they like to think, and it dictates your thought process and the way you behave. The opposite ends of the spectrum are thinking and feeling. I've always thought I was a thinker. I keep testing as a feeler, and I don't like it. As Warner hits one out to right field, and again Johnson makes the catch, this time sliding down to the turf.
She's made a couple of really, really nice sliding plays in this game, Joe. Definitely one of the bright spots out there for the Chargers.
At the plate now, Mariah Carcano with 2 away here in the top of the 5th. Carcano had a bunt single earlier and lays down another bunt here.
Looks like she beat it out
And
again.
She did.
She did.
Her second bunt single of the game to go along with a sacrifice.
Not really much you could do there. The third baseman is playing in, understanding that Carcano, who has shown bunt first 2 times today at the plate, did it again. Not much the catcher, the pitcher could really do. Just kind of anticipate where the ball is going to go.
And she's had 2 very different looking bunt singles. The first one, the ball basically came to rest about 3 inches in front of the batter's box. No chance on that one. And on that bunt, the ball slowly rolled toward the circle, just slow enough for Carcano to beat it out. And very quickly, Eileen Balderas is ahead in the count, 2-0. Nick Bavona says, no Nick squared.
No Nick squared.
And more importantly,
not yet.
No Nick sandwich. As that's taken out of the zone. 3-0
Oh,
Balderas.
boy.
Well,
We're not getting to that.
that's a reference to a call from now, I believe it was 2 years ago. Maybe even last season. But if you know, you know.
If you know, you know.
That's right. 3-0. And Balderas swung at a pitch at her eyes. 3-1.
She did. She's mouthing something to herself, frustrated that she swung at that pitch. That would have been ball 4. So, for an outstanding player who doesn't
They
make
have it
too many
2-2 on the
mistakes.
field, so I made a mistake.
You made a mistake. Okay.
Rare mistake. As Balderas grounds it to third. Long throw across the diamond in time. And the Dolphins are retired in the 5th. No runs home for CSI, but they still lead it by 3. Chargers come to bat, trailing 4-1 when we come back. And we're back for the home 5th inning. At the plate, Tony Joe Lopez lines one into right field for a base hit. Once again, Joe, the Chargers have the leadoff batter on. So far, they've been held to just a run.
Was that Lopez's second hit of the game?
I can tell you in a second.
First hit of the game. Okay. So I think that's the second time she's sprayed a ball to the right field.
First at bat was a ground out.
Was a ground out.
It's back to the top of the order now. Nicole Mata at the plate. She's officially 0 for 1. Has reached on a walk. And that's hit to center, where Carcano charges in to make the catch.
Was hit on a rope, but just a little high enough that Carcano was able to run that down and get it. And with that, the Dolphins have 1 out.
Once again, Grenier put a runner on and then immediately got a quick out. We've seen that a couple of times already. She put 2 on.
Yeah, I would
then
say
got
about
a double play.
4 or 5 times in this game through the first 4+ innings. Which is, again, something that you build on from one year to the next. She's definitely been the Dolphins' most effective pitcher this trip so far.
And Mikasevich at the plate hits one to short. Balderas to Warner. On to Acosta, not in time.
It's almost the second time
Close.
that they pulled that 6-4-3 double play in this game. They've already turned 2 double plays. So the defense, which has been spotty here at times in Claremont, definitely one of the strong suits for the Dolphins in this game today.
This has undoubtedly been their best defensive game. 2 away in the inning now. And Chloe McIntosh will be the batter. She takes a strike. McIntosh at the plate, 1 for 2. That's hit softly on the ground, foul. Wide of the line at third.
Motley's been active here at third base the first 4+ days. Hasn't really seen too many ground balls or line drives hit her way in this game.
Like you said, in many of the other games, she has been very busy.
Balderas has been the busy one today.
Yes, she has. As that's hit to first, backhanded by Acosta, and she steps on the bag to retire the side. So after a leadoff single, the Chargers go down quickly in the 5th. Our score through 5, Staten Island 4 and Dominican 1. Anissa Acosta leads off for the Dolphins in the road 6th. She's behind 0-1. Acosta at the plate, 2 for 3 with a couple of runs batted in. That's fouled off. TJ has been the best Dolphins hitter on this trip. 464, 13 hits, 4 of those for extra bases. 7 runs scored, 5 batted in.
2 of those in this game.
Well, these aren't updated through this game, so those numbers have gotten better.
So 5 RBIs total entering today, and then in addition to those
7.
5, now 7. Okay, gotcha.
Another extra base hit.
There you go.
And 15 hits total rather than 13. And TJ takes up and away, 2-1.
Is that active Dolphins dugout with those kooky crazy chants, of which I'm still figuring most of them out.
Costa now ahead 3-1.
Pretty sure the Chargers were doing the ball chant before.
They have the count as 3-2, so I missed another pitch. Shame on me. There's ball 4.
No shame for Acosta there. Excellent day at the plate with those 2 RBIs on that double and that hard hit single, and now a walk.
That will bring up Olivia Wanzer. Wanzer 1 for 2 with a walk and a strikeout. And Wanzer looks at a strike. Comes the 0-1. And that's a called strike 2, and once again, Wanzer didn't like the call.
Everything that she has seen in her at-bats today has been over that outer half of the plate, more aligned to the corner of the plate, stuff that I don't think she would usually swing at.
That's high and outside. 1-2. Once again, Joe, they go to the outside corner and they get the called strike 3.
And she's frustrated herself. I do think in that instance, Joe, minor critique is you got to protect the plate just a little bit better.
Amanda Stalker, the batter now. And Stalker takes high and outside.
Stalker also has had some good plate appearances, and I believe she did walk her last plate appearance. That you can check.
She has walked twice.
She's walked twice. There you go.
0 for 1, 2 walks. 4th at bat of the game here in the 6th. She takes high and outside.
All the Dolphins batters today, I don't think she's gotten any real pitches to hit either.
Middle of the order hasn't gotten much. A lot of walks in that middle third of the lineup. That's up and in.
As irritating as it is, sometimes a walk is as good as a hit. Very softball type cliche, but 3-0 count here, runner on first. Maybe inclined to take a couple pitches. She was definitely taking one, and that's in their first strike.
Count 3-1 on Stalker. Acosta the runner at first, Bridget Motley on deck. There's a strike on the outside corner.
It was a difficult pitch to lay off, but lay off she did. Did hit the outside corner. Now the count is full.
Comes the 3-2. Outside, ball 4. And the Dolphins will make a change here. Looks like we're going to have a pinch runner coming in. Emma O'Neill will pinch run for Anissa Acosta over at second. So the Dolphins leading by 3. O'Neill will take the place of Acosta over at second base. The Dolphins hoping that Bridget Motley can deliver another run-scoring hit here. Bridget is 2 for 2 with 2 runs batted in. She's also drawn a walk.
Not quite another bases loaded scenario, but there are runners out there, first and second.
And Motley looks at a strike.
O'Neill taking a huge lead over there at second base. She's about a quarter of the way to third base there. So she's looking to run, Joe.
And the 0-1 is hit in the air, shallow right. And again, coming in to make the catch is Johnson.
Ball barely left the infield. Not much either runner on the base paths can do about that. And with that, they're a 2-away.
Madeline Paul will be the batter now. Paul was pinch hit for in her last at-bat. She's 0 for 2 at the plate. Chance here to extend the Dolphins' lead to 4 runs. Baxter's first pitch, swung on and missed, strike 1.
Best pitch I think Paul has seen today to hit. Swings right through. Count 0-1.
Comes the 0-1. Swing and a miss, strike 2. Ran that pitch inside on Paul.
We have Soleil Smith, Joe, right now in the on-deck circle. So if Madam Paul is able to do something here, we will have another pinch hitter.
That's high and outside, 1 and 2. Comes the 1 and 2. And Paul got tied up there, struck out on a half swing. And that will do it for the Dolphins here in the 6th inning. CSI strands a pair on base. Their lead remains 4-1. And we are back from Claremont. Dolphins lead it 4-1 as we play in the bottom half of the 6th inning. This game, the first of 2 the Dolphins will play today. On their final day at the spring games, the Dolphins head home early tomorrow morning. I head to Buffalo tonight for East Coast Conference Championship basketball. Both the men and the women take the court tomorrow in Amherst, New York. I will not be on the call for those games, but you can catch those on the ECC network. The women at 2:30, the men at 5. Leading off for the Chargers here in the home 6, Giovanna Salcido. Salcido very quickly is ahead in the count. Fortunately, Joe, I'm not sure what that count is. For those who don't know, the scoreboard here typically is operated by the home team, but we have had several games with no scoreboard.
Usually the home plate umpire gives us a reset after 3 or 4 pitches, and he just did. So the count is 2-2.
I guessed
I
it
was
right,
going to
Joe.
say 2-2.
I guessed it right. I had the live stats at 2-2, and that was correct. It's now 3-2. Full count on Salcedo. That's fouled off again.
Hitting the general direction of the ice cream truck here.
You know what? Ice cream sounds pretty good right now, Joe.
You know, I haven't had ice cream this week. I did have a Reese's peanut butter cup before, so I don't know. Maybe I fulfilled my snack obligation for the day.
And Salcedo draws the walk to lead off the inning. So once again, the Chargers have the leadoff batter on.
They've now done that 4 times in this game?
I believe so. And we have a softball on the field. Dribble to third by Adriana Barnes. Time for Motley, and she throws out Barnes. 1 away.
First time I think in this game Motley's had to work a little bit at third. That ball was hit harder than a dribbler. Hard enough that Motley was able to gather the ball cleanly and fire a good throw over to first base. Just like that, the Dolphins are in the first out of the inning.
That will bring up Jalea Laporte.
Renier's done a good job. After every single time that the Chargers have had a base runner, whether it's come via walk or hit in this game, she's followed the next batter with some good pitches.
And that's hit in the air to center. Easy play for Carcano. And once again, Joe,
just like
Renier gives up the leadoff base runner, in this case on a walk, and then immediately has 2 outs.
That's right. At least the second or I think third time in this game that has happened. So the Dolphins coaches have to be incredibly impressed with what she's done on the mound, inside the circle today.
And that's hit right at Stalker again, who has played perfectly. Emily Angulo down on 1 pitch, and just like that, the Chargers are set aside in the home 6th inning. The Dolphins will look for some insurance when we come back. They lead Dominican 4-1. And we are back from Claremont, where Paige Bell gets an at-bat for the Dolphins here.
As a pinch hitter, yesterday she came in out of the bullpen, and she worked, the final 2 innings yesterday, I believe. She was very effective. Got a couple of ground balls right back to her. Ultimately pitched well.
Bell's ahead here, 2-1.
Getting the opportunity to swing the bat.
That's fouled back. Two and 2 the count on the Dolphins pinch hitter. And Bell takes a called strike 3.
Once again, the Dolphins looking at a called third strike on the outer half, corner of the plate.
Bell got at bats in 2 games already, Joe?
She got an at bat yesterday?
She had an at bat against Southwest Minnesota.
Yes.
Franklin Pierce and Pittsburgh Johnstown. According to our stats, they do. She did.
Okay.
If she did.
Yeah, I knew she had gotten in a couple of plate appearances here and there throughout the trip.
Yeah, I thought that was her first at bat in a game that I've scored. I just went and looked at it. That was her 4th at bat already. 3rd in a game that I've scored.
Well, you did not score the Southwest Minnesota game, so maybe that kind of threw you off just a bit.
1-1 here on Olivia Warner. It actually be 2-1. See, this is why you can't have the statistician also be the play-by-play guy, as Warner grounds one up the middle for a base hit. First hit of the day for Warner. She's now 1 for 3 with a walk, and Mariah Carcano will be the batter.
It's the third time in this game that the Dolphins have gotten single right up the gut.
And the Dolphins.
So we're going to have a pinch runner here. There'll be 13 entering the game as a pinch runner for Warner at first.
13 would be Jalen Martinez. So Warner to the dugout. Martinez the pinch runner. Carcano the batter. And they're getting that change to the home plate umpire here. So we wait.
Wait, we will.
Dolphins lead it 4-1 here in the 7th. Their second game is scheduled for 4:15 on Field 1. I cannot see if Field 1 has action on it right now. Just trying to get a look at the scoreboard. You definitely can't see the field. Sounds awfully quiet, Joe, so I don't think so.
Does sound awfully quiet over there. There's definitely action over here to the left of us on Field 2.
Game just ended on Field 5 as well. For those who have not been here, it's definitely worth coming down to check it out one year if you're interested in softball and a fan of the Dolphins. It's the right time of year to get out of the cold New York weather as Carcano drags that bunt down the first baseline. Foul ball. Carcano 2 for 2 with 2 bunt singles and a sacrifice bunt.
Gotta think Carcano's going to try to do the same thing here, but the pitcher might be going away to prevent that.
They are as far in as it gets, and they still can't keep her off the base paths. Martinez just beat the throw to second.
Yeah, she stopped there about 4 or 5 steps right before second base, and looks like she was looking at the play a little more so than getting to second base. Head coach Tracy Garofalo picked that up, but as it stands, she is safe at second. Does not cost the Dolphins in any way. And now Eileen Balderas here.
That was way too close.
Has the opportunity here to drive some more runs. Potential insurance runs here for the Dolphins in the top half of the 7th inning.
Balderas in the game is 1 for 3. She's drawn a walk. Chance here to really give the Dolphins some extra breathing room. Comes the 1-0, and that is foul.
Well, if that was straightened out, that would have been 3 runs right there.
Well, it wouldn't have, Joe, because it hit the fence again.
No, I mean, if she straightens that out, that
yeah, she was
I think that ball's
bit,
going over the
but
fence.
that was a line drive off the fence, and it hit pretty low.
I think it was smoked.
It sure was.
That hit the back fence to the left of the left field foul pole in the corner over there.
Carry to left field
in about 2 seconds, maybe 2.5 seconds.
It does not carry to left at all here. You need to hit a screamer as Balderas takes low.
So far, the Chargers' only run has come from that Barnes hit all the way back in the first inning, and she hit that incredibly well.
Comes the 2-1. And that is smoked foul.
Second time in this at-bat that she's just out in front of it.
Balderas right now just a bit out in front. And as you said, Joe, if she straightens it out, at the very least, it is going to find a gap or reach the wall. Because she is
going to find somewhere and drop because none of those fields are going to be able to get to it.
She's put a couple of really good swings on the ball. And she takes high there for ball 3. Three and 2 the count on the Dolphins shortstop. And Balderas hits it on the ground, left side. And the play is to third. Martinez is forced out. And there are now 2 away.
Good play by the shortstop, being able to pick that wasn't really a difficult hop, but she was playing really, really far back. So she had to field the hop cleanly and throw it to third base. And it was the third baseman who fielded the throw. She applied the tag, even though the tag was unnecessary because, as a Chargers fan to the right of us noted, it was a force play. Now the Dolphins have two-way.
Anissa Acosta, the batter, behind 0-1 after a called strike. TJ 2 for 3 with 2 runs batted in, has drawn a walk as well. The 0-1. Looped into shallow left field, and that is down for a hit. It's played on a hop, and the throw goes to third, which will allow Acosta to advance to second.
Yeah, that ball wasn't hit particularly hard, but it was hit into a gap. And I think the outfielders were playing just a little farther back there on Acosta. So I think that actually was to their disadvantage. That ball kind of landed about 10 feet in front of the left fielder. So because of that, we have runners on second and third, and the Dolphins do add an insurance run, Joe.
Acosta put that in the perfect spot, and now Olivia Wanzer with a base hit here could make this a 6-run game. And 1 the count on Wanzer. And she looks at a strike on the outside corner.
Said that quite a few times today.
And she does not want that pitch on the outer edge.
They have been throwing her to the outside almost every single pitch that she has seen and every single at-bat that she's had in this game. Can't get frustrated, though.
They tried to get her to chase further out. Comes the 1-2. That's fouled off.
Sky high into the netting near the Coliseum. We'll do it again.
Count 1 ball and 2 strikes on the Dolphins' designated player. 1-2 again. Low and inside. The 2-2. Fouled off again. Wanzer fighting off those pitches on the outer half. It's only a matter of time before you try and go out there and miss over the plate somewhere.
She has not gotten any pitch to really turn on in this game, like I mentioned.
No, she hasn't. Another 2-2.
There you go.
Is lined into left field. Base hit. It's played on a hop, and the throw is high, but Acosta will stay put. Wanzer will advance on the throwing error in left field.
I'll tell you something, she was waiting almost 2 hours for a pitch like that to turn on, and turn on it she did. Gets in front of the left fielder, and just like that, the Dolphins have yet another insurance run, Joe. It's now 6-1.
It's an RBI hit for Wanzer. Amanda Stalker now takes low and inside for ball 1.
Stalker has 3 walks today.
Yes, she does. 0 for 1, 3 walks. Dolphins
She walks
now lead by
anymore.
5.
She walks anymore. We're going to call her Stalker the Walker.
Are we now?
I don't think she's going to.
Try that one on the van ride back. See how it goes over.
I think you'd get a chuckle out of her.
That's taken outside, ball 3.
Well, you know what? Runners on second and third with within the game context.
Now, was that ball 2 or 3?
I think that was ball 3.
So do I.
I believe it's
screen.
the,
okay, my screen is not updating. It is frozen. There we go.
There we go. Count is 30.
3-0. And Stalker swings and pops it up.
I have to think that's a frustrated swing because she hasn't really swung the bat much at all today.
A lot of Dolphins have been in that predicament. Sometimes you just have to take one more.
Right.
Dolphins strand 2 in scoring position, but they had 2 insurance runs in the top half of the 7th. The Marina Grenier makes a bid for another complete game effort when we come back. First pitch of the home seventh, hit to center. Mariah Carcano right there, and there's an immediate first out.
Chargers down to their final 2 outs.
Kendall Johnson retired on just 1 pitch. And Tony Jo Lopez will be the batter here. She takes a called strike 1. That's hit in the air to right. Chance for Stalker. And she makes the catch. 2 gone.
3 pitches, 2 outs. 1 out away from Grenier working her second complete game here of the trip.
Cole Mata, the last chance for the Chargers. That pitch is in for a strike. That's grounded down the third base line. Backhanded by Motley. And it looked like the ball got caught in her glove.
Yes, she fielded that on the backhand, and it wasn't a clean transition. So it's the second time that's happened to her this trip. I'm going to let you score that however you want, Joe.
Yeah, you know, that's a toss-up.
That is a toss-up. I think that is a 50-50 play because that ball was hit past the third base bag where she fielded it.
That was just an odd play. For now, we're going to give it a hit. I may change my mind if I go back and watch the video.
Okay. I'll let you do your thing.
Had the ball been lost on a transfer where she was squared up to it, definitely an error.
Yes.
But she had no choice but to play it on the backhand right along the line. That's a 50-50 play. At the plate now, Emma Kasovitz. And I believe it may be 3-0, Joe.
I believe we are.
See, when you score a play and your eyes come off the umpire and the batter, the count is immediately lost. That's in for a strike.
I believe it is 31.
Foul ball, 32.
And just like that, the Chargers down to their final strike.
Unofficially, I have Grenier around 80 pitches. Very, very low.
I really think you only missed maybe 4 or 5 total.
I've missed more.
You have missed more?
Unofficially, I have 72. That's not right. When we make changes and rescore plays, we lose pitches. As Grenier has it hit off for a glove, but the glove flip is not in time. Oh, I thought they got her, Joe.
How do you want to...
Well, that's an error.
That's an error?
That's an error.
We're going to give her an error.
That's an error.
Okay. My initial reaction was to say that the Motley play was a base hit and that was an error. So we're 2 for 2 on agreeing here in the bottom half of the 7th inning.
The way you didn't say anything, I thought maybe you disagreed on the first one.
I didn't.
Agreed?
I didn't. We agree on that. I wouldn't say it's a difficult play, but again, based on where the ball was hit.
Grenier had all the time in the world on that one and lost the ball in her glove.
So to reset, the Chargers have runners on the corners with 2 outs here.
Chloe McIntosh, the batter. McIntosh 1 for 3. She takes down and in. That's popped up on the infield. And Motley takes it from Balderas to end the game.
Well, you know what? You know what I say?
What?
A win is a win.
What I say is it counts just the same. Balderas looked to be calling. Motley was having none of it, made the catch, and the Dolphins win it 6-1. Our final lines in this one: the Dolphins 6 runs on 12 hits, 1 error. The Chargers 1 run on 7 base hits and 1 error. The Dolphins are now 5-4 on their trip to the spring games here in Claremont. They are now 7-4 on the season. The Chargers fall to 2-7. We have a 4:15 start scheduled over on Field 1. Whether or not we start on time remains to be seen. It looks like we will. But for Joe and I, this will wrap up our coverage of Game 9 for the Dolphins here at the Spring Games. Once again, our final score, the Dolphins 6 and the Chargers 1. Be sure to join us right back here on CSI Sportsnet for the call of the Dolphins' final game here in Claremont, coming up in approximately 25 minutes.